Hey there, rock and roll art stars. This is Mrs. Rothermel, and I'm here to teach you all about Ansel Adams today. So here we go. Ansel Adams, the Tetons, the Snake River, Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming, 1942 is the photograph we're looking at. And that is also in our 7th grade textbook. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's go on back. All right, so Ansel Adams was born February 20th. Oh, he's got a birthday coming up. In 1902 in San Francisco. His father was Charles Adam and his mother was named Olive. In the earthquake of April 18th, 1906, the Adams house was damaged, but they were still able to live in it. Most of the inhabitants of the city were left homeless, and in an aftershock, the young boy Ansel, then 4 years old, was tossed around and his nose was broken. For the rest of his life, he had a crooked nose. His family was wealthy when he was young, but they suffered financial reverses and went from having a cook, a maid, and a governess to doing everything for themselves when they could no longer afford to hire help. Ansel was homeschooled by his father and his Aunt Mary until he was 9 years old. Then he was put in various schools, but he did not do well. He was a very nervous, hyperactive child. His father saw something special in his son and did his best to nurture him. He removed him from school and hired tutors to teach him algebra and Greek. Ansel became interested in the piano, taught himself how to play, and began to take lessons. Music provided the structure that had been missing in his life, and he learned how to play in a couple of months, and his father bought for him a $6,000 piano. Back in that time, that was a lot of clams. Paying it out by installments. When he was 13, his father bought him a 1-year pass to San Francisco's Panama Pacific International Exposition. This would be his schooling for a year. He went to the exposition every day, and it was at the exposition that he first saw displays of art and pictorial photography. The following year, he was captivated by a book he saw about Yosemite. Then his parents took him on a trip to Yosemite. First, they traveled by train, then by bus to reach the area. His parents gave him a Kodak Brownie box camera, with he took pictures at Yosemite. The trip was actually the turning point in his life. Back at home, he would practice the piano for 6 hours a day. He had decided to become a concert pianist. Then in the summer, he would return to the mountains. While he was in the mountains, the only place he had to practice the piano was at Best's studio, owned by Harry Best. Harry also had a daughter named Virginia, who eventually became Ansel's wife. He was 26 years old when they married. He and Virginia moved into a little house at the back of the studio and raised their 2 children there. Best's studio would later become known as Ansel Adams Gallery. Here is a photograph he took called Leaf in Glacier National Park. He continued with his work as a professional photographer, and after having some success at selling portfolios of his prints, he saw he would be able to make a better living as a photographer than as a concert pianist. He experimented with different filters on his camera and different ways of developing the prints. His photographs became works of art, and by 1935, he was recognized as one of the best photographers in America. Wealthy people began to hire him to make portraits of their families and pictures of their homes. Ansel Adams specialized in black and white photography. Sometimes it would take him a whole day to print a picture to make it look exactly as he wanted it. One of his most famous prints is Moonrise. And I believe I have... Do I have this one? No, I don't have this one. So here's Moonrise. And that was Hernandez, New Mexico. Let's look at some more. Here is Lake McDonald in Glacier National Park. I believe Glacier National Park is in Alaska. Here is, this looks like a geyser. It is Old Faithful Geyser at Yellowstone National Park. 1942. Here's the Grand Tetons one that we were looking at the beginning. Wyoming. Here is Winter Sunrise, the Sierra Nevada from Lone Pine, California. Oh, wow. There's like man and nature there. We got buildings and scenery. This one is called Central Park and Skyscrapers, New York City, 1945. So as you can see, he did black and white photography. I believe at the time they had color photography, but he liked black and white. That was his thing. Mount Williamson from the Sierra Nevada, from Manzanar, California. There's something about black and white photography, but there's something about color photography. You just got to know when to use it. What's cool about digital photography is you can convert your color photos to black and white. You could even take a color negative and print it black and white. So if you had film, because he was using film at the time, of course. This is Nevada Fall Rainbow. It's like, oh, I can't see this one. I don't know about you, but since it's a picture of a rainbow, I would much rather see this in color, wouldn't you? Something to think about. Here is, wow, this looks like it could be Creek Ridge Park in Michigan City, but no, it's Tiana Creek, Dogwood Rain, Yosemite Valley. Wonder how many are on here. This one is Mount McKinley, Delaney National Park, Alaska. All right, we'll look at this last one and then we'll go back to the biography. Mono Lake, California. Oh, one more. This is the last one, I promise. I don't know how many are on here, but this is a website where Masters of Photography where they're selling, I think they're selling prints of his on here. Oh, I like this one. Okay, this is a good one to leave on because it's snowy. Oak Tree Snowstorm, Yosemite National Park. So, yes, it says buying posters through this link supports Masters of Photography. Pretty cool. All right, let's go on back. If we have time, we'll look at some more. All right, where was I? Alfred Stieglitz offered him a one-man show in New York. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. He worked so hard that summer preparing for exhibits, he worked himself into exhaustion. It took him months to recover. Adams had been active in the Sierra Club since he was a teenager, and now he was on the board of directors, and in this way, he helped to preserve the environment. His book of photographs, Sierra Nevada, the John Muir Trail, was given to President Theodore Roosevelt, helped to influence him to support Kings Canyon as a national park. So, okay, when he gave the book to the president, it helped him influence. Good idea. Save the environment. Photography to save the environment. The Department of Interior commissioned him to make a set of murals. They are featured in a book, Ansel Adams, the National Park Service Photographs. Let's click on that in a second. Adams published numerous books of his photographic work and books about photography. To share his knowledge, he held workshops to teach people photography. He was a great teacher. I didn't know he was a teacher. That's pretty cool. Oh, now we're on Amazon. I love Amazon. And here's the book you can get. And there's probably so many more books. Notice how much a hardcover book costs compared to a paperback. But I love a hardcover book. But if you're printing your own books, it's cheaper to get the paperback. All right, let's keep her going. Easily distracted by Amazon things. All right, so in 1980, President Jimmy Carter awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the nation's highest honor to be given to a civilian. Civilian means someone who's not in the military. In 1983, he visited his beloved Yosemite for the last time and died the next year on April 22nd, 1984. He was 82 years old. Sorry about that. 6 months after his death, Congress set aside some land in the Sierra Nevada area of California they named Ansel Adams Wilderness, and a mountain was named in his honor, Mount Ansel Adams. How cool is that? All right, so let's take a look at this Ansel Adams Wilderness. Of course, it's Wikipedia, so you can't really, believe Wikipedia, unfortunately, but sometimes it's true, and this looks like it's legit. It looks legit. Very cool. Let's see I wonder if this is the mountain or not. Let's see. Mount Ansel Adams. Wow. So he has a mountain named after him. And this was a picture that was taken in 2002 by another photographer in color. All right, so here is, I believe this is, oh, cool. So this is like a panoramic picture of the wilderness. All right, let's go on back and see what's next. What does it say? It says, this biography was by Patsy Stevens, a retired teacher. It was written in 2008. Hey, let's take the online test. I'm going to read it to you. But you got to come up with the right answers. At this time, put your first and last name. I'm just going to write Ansel Adams because I'm doing this as a guest. So I'm going to do the 4 zeros. You need to put in your class code. At this time, put in your class code. If we are in class doing this together, I will have dropped it in the chat for you. Come on, computer. What did I do? There we go. I will have put it in the chat box for you. Otherwise, if you're doing this outside of Zoom, you will find it with your Google Classroom assignment. Always when I do Google Classroom assignments, I provide links to help you to complete the assignment. So you'll have the biography, you'll have this, so you can open them both at the same time and use the bio to help you find the answers, which you could do now. You could. And then I have the video that we're playing now. All right, so I'm going to start this test. I'm going to read it to you. I'm not going to give you the answers, though. All right, so here we go. Number 1, Ansel Adams. Oh, and this is him, by the way. Looks like a cowboy. Ansel Adams was born in, was it California, Mexico, Canada, or New York? California, Mexico, Canada, or New York? Mark the correct answer. You can always go back, too, and skip over the ones you don't know and look them up in the bio. Oh, see how I did that? Number 2, as a child, Ansel's nose was broken. Was it when he was thrown from a horse? In an earthquake? When he ran into a wall? Or when he got into a fight? Pick the best answer. As a child, Ansel's nose was broken when he was thrown from a horse, in an earthquake, when he ran into a wall, or when he got into a fight. Number 3, when the family suffered financial loss, they kept the cook and maid. His father left home. They did everything for themselves. They became homeless. Which one? When the family suffered financial loss, they still kept the cook and maid. His father left home. They did everything for themselves, or they became homeless. Number 4, until he was 9 years old, Ansel was sent to public school, attended private school, taught himself, or was homeschooled. Until he was 9 years old, Ansel was sent to public school, attended private school, taught himself, or was homeschooled. Number 5, Ansel's blank saw something special in the boy. Mother, father, teacher, grandmother. Ansel's blank saw something special in the boy. Was it mother, father, teacher, or grandmother? Number 6, Ansel taught himself how to paint pictures, work algebra, play the piano, or hunt with a bow and arrow. Ansel taught himself how to paint pictures, work algebra, play the piano, or hunt with a bow and arrow. Number 7, his father bought him a set of watercolors, a $2,000 computer, a $6,000 piano, or a fine bow and arrow. His father bought him a set of watercolors, a $2,000 computer, $6,000 piano, or a fine bow and arrow. Number 8, when he was 13, his schooling was paid for by his grandmother, traveling by train and attending the exposition, instruction by tutors, or hunting in the woods. When he was 16, his schooling was paid for by his grandmother, traveling by train and attending the exposition, instruction by tutors, or hunting in the woods. Number 9. The next year, his parents took him on a trip to Yosemite, Washington, D.C., the Redwood Forest, or Glacier National Park. The next year, his parents took him on a trip to Yosemite, Washington, D.C., the Redwood Forest, or Glacier National Park. Number 10. His parents' gift of blank was a turning point in his life. A vacation, a Kodak camera, a music book, or hiking boots. His parents' gift of blank was a turning point in his life. A vacation, a Kodak camera, a music book, or hiking boots. Number 11. Ansel would practice the piano 30 minutes a day. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, an hour a day, 6 hours a day. Ansel would practice the piano 30 minutes a day. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, an hour a day, or 6 hours a day. Number 12. He married Virginia and they moved to New York, into a little house owned by her father, all around the country, or in with his parents. He married Virginia and they moved to New York, into a little house owned by his father, all around the country, or in with his parents. Number 13. This is the quiz that never ends. 13. Adams decided he could make a better living as a concert pianist, cab driver, photographer, or logger. Adams decided he could make a better living as a concert pianist, cab driver, photographer, or logger. 14. By 1935, he was known as one of the best blank in America. Photographers, concert pianists, woodsmen, or artists. By 1935, he was known as one of the best blank in America. Photographers, concert pianists, woodsmen, or artists. 15. Wealthy people hired him to blank, give concerts, photograph their families and dogs, paint pictures for them, photograph their families and homes. Wealthy people hired him to give concerts, photograph their families and dogs, paint pictures for them, or photograph their families and home. Number 16. Ansel Adams specialized in pictures of families, black and white photographs, color prints, or pictures of old houses. Ansel Adams specialized in pictures of families, black and white photographs, color prints, or pictures of old houses. Number 17. He worked himself to exhaustion preparing for a one-man show of his photography, a piano concert, an oil paint exhibition, or a trip to Yosemite. He worked himself to exhaustion preparing for a one-man show of his photography, a piano concert, an oil painting exhibition, or a trip to Yosemite. Number 18. He served the board of directors of the Musicians Guild, Sierra Club, Green Team, or Environmental Awareness Club. He served on the board of directors of the Musicians Guild, Sierra Club, Green Team, or Environmental Awareness Club. 19. In addition to publishing books, he taught in elementary schools, taught college courses, held workshops, or worked in camera stores. In addition to publishing books, he taught in elementary schools, taught college courses, held workshops, or worked in camera stores. Last, number 20. President blank awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Was it Richard Nixon, Dwight Eisenhower, Lyndon Johnson, or Jimmy Carter? President blank awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Richard Nixon, Dwight Eisenhower, Lyndon Johnson, or Jimmy Carter. If you need to go back and check over your answers or whatever you need to do, go ahead and do so. When you're done, hit I'm finished, grade my test. And make sure you see that little box saying which ones you got right or wrong or whatever. It's saying I didn't answer him, so I have to go back. But if you don't hit that button and you don't use the right code, I don't get your test. All right, rock and roll art stars. Stay strong and rock on. This is Mrs. Rothermel signing off.